My heart races with a reckless joy that dances strangely within me. I barely know this boy, and yet something about him feels so familiar. I can't help trusting him completely. Just like the instant connection I'd felt to Wish, my sister, this boy creates an echo within me, as if I've known him all my existence. It's insane, but undeniable. Held in the curve of his arms, leaning into the warmth of his chest, his heart beats beneath my ear. I feel like I'm where I belong. For the first time, I'm not afraid of my own existence. Right now, in this Deca, I feel I'm exactly where I was always meant to be. His fingers stroke my hair. I'm still so tired. I wonder how long I've been asleep, or passed out, really, I guess. Wondering makes me worry, and I graze my teeth across my bottom lip. Ty brushes his fingers down my arm. I breathe him in. He smells earthy and real, as if his very being were tied to the planet in the same way mine is tethered to the stars. I feel myself dozing on and off against his shoulder. Time passes, but I don't know how long he sits here with me, just holding me. I wish I had the strength to pull away, to talk to him. But even the silence feels right, and my body keeps dragging me back to sleep, so I give in to these stolen moments. The world around us will demand more of me soon enough. Wish still hovers on the outskirts of my thoughts, but, just at this moment, the best I can do is rest. Eventually, the door creaks open. Ty and I both sit up, putting distance between us. Tannen's blue eyes seem particularly perceptive as he comes into the room. Tannan is trailed by an older and more world-wearied man carrying a tray heaped with steaming food. Large bowls of dark purple soup with thick loaves of bread. The smell is divine, like nothing I've ever smelled before, and yet again, so familiar. "Ah, she's awake," Tannan says. His words are kind, almost caring, but professional. "Ty tells me your name is Nia?" I nod. I should have introduced myself properly earlier. I'm Tannan, and I'm in charge of keeping shadows like Ty out of the eye and arm of the stalkers. This is Corell. He's in charge of keeping the faithful fed in the city below. Ty grins and reaches out for one of the bowls Corell has to offer. He does a fine job of it too. Ty digs into the food with relish, and I wonder when he's last seen a decent feed. My own stomach growls, reminding me that I've skipped a meal or two myself. I breathe in the aromas of the still steaming food. Corell smiles at me, but rather than handing me a bowl, he arranges the side table, moving the bowl of water over to the dresser and pulling the table closer to me so that he can lay the food out on top of it. He hands me a spoon. Earth bulb stew with sapperroot scalloped in fresh mammoth milk. I considered adding compi meat, but wasn't sure if you would take to it. Not everyone does. Nothing of what he says makes much sense to me. I have no idea what earth bulbs, sapperroots, or compi meat are, but since the stew smells delicious, I nod my head and tug apart the loaf of bread to dip chunks of it into the thick liquid. The taste of it on my tongue tingles with hints of familiarity, and I realize how very hungry I am. Tannan watches Ty and me devour our food for a few moments, and then pulls up a chair opposite us. "I've got some news." Ty lifts his head, pausing between chews. Tannan raises a hand. "Actually, it's more good than bad. We know where they've taken the girl." I look up from my meal and swallow my mouthful before saying, "Her name is Wish. She's my sister." Tannan gives a thoughtful nod, then continues, "Well, she's currently a guest of the Lord. They have her at the palace." "The palace," Ty says. "I don't know how you think that's good news." "Well, at least we aren't left wondering. And when you say guest, I assume she does not have comfortable lodgings. To be honest, I don't know. Word trickles to us through the stalkers. They are on high alert. Rumor is that one of their own became a meal for the Lord's beast, and he's asked them to make it known in certain circles that the girl is next if Bellamy isn't delivered to him by Factor 22 tomorrow. My heart sinks. But Bellamy doesn't exist. Ty and Tannen's eyes both settle on me. I can see their minds ticking away. Their scrutiny makes my skin crawl. I'm not him. Of course you're not, Tannan agrees. But you could pass for it if they don't look too close. Ty shakes his head. The Lord will look close, Tannan, and we can't hand her over to him. Besides, he'd likely as not arrange for all of us to hang if we tried to deliver her to him. Or become a lesser beast chew toy, Carell adds. Ty continues as if Carell hadn't spoken. You know he wouldn't take kindly to the return of the elixir. I furrow my brow and turn to him. Why not? I thought everyone was waiting for the cure. Ty sighs. A lot has happened in 200 narcycles. Lord Oliver has become very comfortable in his place as ruler. Tannan nods. The Lord has found a power and freedom in what he has created here. Accepting that NAR might be cured of the shadows means giving all Nerians a chance to choose a life outside of the City of Light. Without the people, his city falls. What do you mean? Ty leans past me as he places his now empty bowl on the table. The City of Light exists in a very careful balance of power. For the inner circle, those with enough staples to guarantee a lifetime of access to Virial, there is a certainty in knowing they have an assured place in the Adventure Kingdom. They get to live out their dreams and create the peoples of the Lord's other worlds. I feel like I'm getting more and more confused with every word, but I try to make sense of it all in my head. Ty continues, most of the city is outer circle. They make up the workforce that keeps the city running. If you aren't in either the inner or outer circle, you're outcast. Some will wander into the Shadowlands, becoming shadow people like me. Others find their way down here to the faithful. Yes, Tannan says, and with careful negotiation and the trade of staples, there is a degree of crossover between those three levels, but no manner of staples will get a shadow into the inner circle. A stalker maybe, but not us, not the outcast. I lick my lips at the last taste of my now finished meal as I push the bowl aside. Carell smiles down on me as he reaches to gather up the dishes. So how does this help us rescue Wish? Tannen's brow furrows. Well, it makes things difficult. You see, potentially we could present you as Bellamy. That would get us access to the inner circle and the palace beyond. It would give us a way to get in. Without that, access is almost impossible. Ty shakes his head. But it's suicide for all of us. It's not really an option. No sane person delivers themselves to Lord Oliver. Right, Tannan says, and that makes it harder. We can't just walk in. We need inner circle credentials. We might even need avatars. Avatars? I ask. Tannan nods, but Ty is the one to explain. Virial is a virtual reality. The Lord spends most of his time there, and odds are they've taken Wish there as well. We can't get her out unless she chooses to disconnect for herself. If they haven't told her, how then she might not be able to. If they've linked her into Virial, then someone will need to go in after her. And avoid the hazards within, Tannan says. So, says Ty, credentials? How do you think we could swing those? Actually, I have an idea about that, but it'll have to wait until morning. He turns to me. You both need sleep, and Lyris and I will need a few factors to line up some valid codes. I lean forward. But what about Wish, and the deadline? Tannan puts a hand on my shoulder. We have time. He won't hurt her while he believes she holds value. Look at you both, dead on your feet. You're no good to her if you can't stay conscious while you rescue her. I frown, feeling frustrated at being trapped in this failing body. I know that he's right. I sigh. Yeah, okay. But first thing in the morning, okay? Tannan nods. As he and Carell head out the door, Ty moves to stand too. I grip his arm, suddenly afraid to be left alone. Will you stay? I know he must see a pathetic desperation in my eyes, and I feel stupid being so afraid. I lean forward and whisper, I'm afraid to close my eyes. Ty's gaze softens. He gives me a gentle smile and leans back against the wall. I can stay, if you want me to. Tannan glances back at us and gives Ty a look before closing the door. Ty turns to me. I'm right here near. It's safe to sleep here. And you'll wake me up, right? In the morning? I don't want to sleep forever. I'll wake you up. I promise. I lean into him and his arms come around me. He strokes my hair, and I know he can feel the tension in my body as I try to let myself fall asleep. The soft, rhythmic beat of his heart against my ear is soothing. I close my eyes, feeling the race of my own heart and will it to match his calmer tempo. I lie, letting the quiet stillness of the night come over me. The gentle brush of Ty's fingers through my hair and down my back soothes me to sleep.